Job is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves for a two-day visit to UAE today to inaugurate first Hindu temple Baps Mandir in Abu Dhabi and address the Indian diaspora event Ahlan Modi. US President Joe Biden says United States is pushing for a 6-week Gaza pause, a stepping stone towards a longer ceasefire. And British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak defends Rwanda policy on migration, slams opposition Labour Party. And on to our top story. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a two-country visit to the UAE and Qatar. The first leg of the visit in the United Arab Emirates entails engagements with UAE leadership and community members, inauguration of first Hindu temple Baps Mandir in Abu Dhabi, and participation as the guest of honor at World Government Summit 2024 in Dubai. Prime Minister Modi has shared departure statement ahead of his visit to UAE and Qatar. And Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "Over the next 2 days, I will be visiting UAE and Qatar to attend various programs which will deepen India's bilateral relations with these nations. My visit to UAE will be my 7th since assuming office, indicating the priority we attach to strong India-UAE friendship. I'm eager to meet my brother, Mohammed bin Zayed. I will have the honor of inaugurating the first Hindu mandir in UAE. I will also address the Indian community at a community program in Abu Dhabi. I will also speak at the World Government Summit and meet Sheikh Mohammed in Dubai. In Qatar, I am looking forward to meeting His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Amir, under whose leadership Qatar continues to witness tremendous growth and transformation. I'm also looking forward to meeting other high dignitaries in Qatar. India and Qatar enjoy historically close and friendly relations. In recent years, our multifaceted ties have continued to deepen in all spheres, including high-level political exchanges, growing trade and investment between two countries, strengthening of our energy partnership, and cooperation in culture and education. The presence of over 800,000 strong Indian community in Doha is a testament to our strong people-to-people ties. And also, ahead of his visit to UAE, Prime Minister Modi praised the Indian diaspora for their efforts to deepen India's engagement with the world. Sharing a post on X, PM said, "We are very proud of our diaspora and their efforts to deepen India's engagement with the world. This evening, I look forward to being among UAE's Indian diaspora at the Ahlan Modi program. Do join this memorable occasion," PM said. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting United Arab Emirates from 13 to 14 February 2024. PM Modi will hold talks with President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and inaugurate the first ever Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. DD India's Meghna Dev reports for more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay an official visit to the UAE from 13th to 14th February. Looking at the frequent high-level exchanges between both the leaders, this will be Prime Minister Modi's 7th visit to the UAE since 2015 and the 3rd in the last 8 months. During the visit, Prime Minister will hold bilateral meetings with President of UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. PM Modi will also meet Vice President of UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. At his invitation, PM Modi will participate in the World Government Summit 2024 to be held in Dubai as guest of honor and deliver a special keynote address at the summit.
Prime Minister will be participating in the World Government Summit 2024 as a guest of honor and deliver a special keynote address on the closing day of the summit.
On 13th of February, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing the Indian community, the Indian diaspora at the Zayed Sports City Stadium in Abu Dhabi. And this is going to be one of the biggest Indian community events in UAE.
On 14th February, PM Modi will inaugurate the Baps Mandir, the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. The highly anticipated Baps Hindu Mandir, a magnificent pink sandstone temple built by Bochasa Navasi Akshar Purushottam Swaminarayan Sanstha, boasts intricate carvings and traditional architecture.
A key highlight of the Prime Minister's visit to the UAE would be inauguration of the Baps Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi on 14th February.
It will serve as a spiritual sanctuary for the Hindu community in the UAE, estimated to be about 3.5 million strong.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to UAE, which is going to happen on the 13th and 14th of February, which is going to be his 7th visit to the UAE. He will also be inaugurating the Baps Hindu Temple in Abu Dhabi, which will be a testimony of the growing relationship between India and UAE and also serve as a spiritual sanctuary for the Indian community, the Indian diaspora, which resides in UAE. With camera person Pramod Negi and my colleague Ashwini Mishra, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
Well, a key highlight of the Prime Minister's visit to the UAE would be the inauguration of the Baps Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi on 14th of February. DD India correspondent Meghna Dev brings you more from the temple.
In the beautiful desert expanse of Abu Dhabi's Abu Muraikha district is this structure emerging from the sands. This structure is also now being known as the lotus in the desert because it's carved out of pink sandstone. Italian marbles and much more has been carved so that it gets this beautiful shape, and it's a testimony, it's a testament to timeless craftsmanship and obviously the Indian intricacy in terms of art, culture, tradition is all depicted on the walls of this beautiful Baps Hindu temple. I will also take you inside to show you the intricacy of the art that's depicted inside the temples under the 7 spires that make this temple as beautiful as it meets the eye. We are inside the Baps Hindu temple, the highly anticipated temple where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming, and we'll be inaugurating it on 14th of February on his visit to UAE. To show you around, my camera person will pan for you and show you the beautiful visuals of this temple, the height, the depth and the intricacy of the art, craftsmanship, which is a testament to what India has to offer in terms of its crafts, timeless crafts that has been depicted here. We obviously see this beautiful structure. When generally people visit Abu Dhabi, this structure transcends them from the general Abu Dhabi in terms of luxury hotels, racing car arenas and much more, to beautiful spiritual place and everything that depicts Indian craftsmanship, Indian culture, Indian tradition and more. With my colleague Ashwini Mishra and camera person Pramod Negi, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
And now DD India's Debyendu Mundal joins us for more. Well, Debyendu, a little while back we saw Prime Minister planning for UAE. How are the preparations going on there, and what's the level of excitement you see around?
Well, Lipakshi, you know, it's just a matter of time now when the Prime Minister will be in the UAE. As you said, he has already in plane, so it's about a 4-hour flight from India So it's expected that the Prime Minister will be landing at around 2 p.m. At Abu Dhabi International Airport, which is the standard time of the UAE. So from here on, he will also be, once he lands, it is expected that he'll be holding a meeting with the leadership of the UAE, after which he will be addressing the much awaited Ahlan Modi at the Sheikh Zayed Sports City Stadium in Abu Dhabi. You know, people from across all the 7 UAE Emirates have come down to Abu Dhabi to experience the extravaganza that has been planned at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. So, you know, there's lots of excitement. People, since last evening, people have started coming into Abu Dhabi, where they will be experiencing this mega extravaganza that's been planned for welcoming the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the UAE. Remember, Lipakshi, this is also one of the largest ever Indian diaspora event that has been planned in the UAE by the authorities, in fact, by the organizers, to welcome the Prime Minister here in the UAE. We'll be seeing much of Indian classical dances, some music here at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium, which will be performed by the Indian diaspora that has been here. Remember, you know, UAE has also one of the largest Indian diaspora here who have been here for generations, and many who have come here to work. So everyone is excited to see their Prime Minister come here. And this is also perhaps the 7th time that the Prime Minister is coming to the UAE, which speaks volumes about how the relationship of both the countries have been growing over the last couple of years. So, you know, people are excited, people are coming here. They have, in fact, already started to come here. The stadium is being filled with people, with their cheers and joy that they will be seeing their Prime Minister in a short while from now. And remember, Prime Minister will also address the Indian diaspora here by today evening. So yes, of course, the excitement is palpable. The excitement on the air is very much there, with people from across all the 7 Emirates coming down to Abu Dhabi to welcome the Prime Minister, and of course to listen to his speech, which is in fact anticipated and waited by the 60,000 plus crowds that have come here in the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. Back to you.
All right, much awaited extravaganza awaited today. What can you tell us, Debendu, about the growing relations between India and UAE, especially in the last couple of years?
Well, you know, Lipakshi, since 2015, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi first visited the UAE, there has been a remarkable shift in the relationship between the UAE and India. And it was in 2015 when Prime Minister Narendra Modi first came here in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, to speak to the leadership. And it was perhaps after a gap of almost 30 years that an Indian Prime Minister had landed in the UAE in 2015. So ever since then, Lipakshi, you know, the relationship between the UAE and India have been growing stronger and stronger with each passing year. You know, there have been multiple cooperation agreements signed between both the countries, be it economic, be it trade, be it renewable energy, aerospace, artificial intelligence. There are multiple sectors of cooperation between both the countries. And, you know, given the fact that a large number of Indian diaspora resides in the UAE. So you know, the relationship between both the countries is very important, that a healthy relationship between both the countries is maintained, and that is perfect. That is exactly what has transcended over the last 9 years now. So,
right.
you know, there are multiple levels of cooperation agreements. We are also given to understand that a significant number of MOUs would also be signed during the high-level visit of the Prime Minister and the senior leadership, including the Prime Minister and the President of the UAE. So, you know, this is a much anticipated visit by the Indian Prime Minister to the UAE. And also remember, Lipakshi, you know, just a year back, if I'm not wrong, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was awarded the highest civilian award of the UAE. So this also shows how the relationship between both the countries have grown over the last couple of years. So, of course, there are also scopes for negotiations and more sort of cooperation in the relationship of both the countries, which perhaps will be addressed in the coming time. And as I was also talking to the ambassador of the UAE to India, so he said this is perhaps just the beginning of a more solid and a more strengthened relationship between the UAE and India. And remember, there are multiple sectors where cooperation between both the countries are ongoing, and many are yet to come. So of course, this is a very important visit in fact, for both the countries.
Yes, India's relationship with UAE has evolved majorly into the most prominent bilateral relationships. Thank you so much for joining us, Devyendu, from there. And moving on to other updates, US President Joe Biden and Jordan's King Abdullah II held talks on how to end the months-long Israel-Hamas conflict, hostage deal, and the plan for what comes afterward. Biden's meeting at the White House on Monday with Abdullah comes as the United States is working to broker another pause in Israel's conflict with Hamas in order to send humanitarian aid and supplies into the region and get hostages out. Jordan's King Abdullah II appealed for a full ceasefire to end the conflict after talks with Joe Biden.
As the King and I discussed today, the United States is working on a hostage deal between Israel and Hamas, which would bring an immediate and sustained period of calm to Gaza for at least 6 weeks, which we could then take the time to build something more enduring. U.S. military forces have struck targets in Iraq and Syria, and our response will continue. We're grateful to our partners and allies like the King, who work with us every single day to advance security and stability across the region and beyond.
And causing disruptions in the Red Sea, Houthis struck an Iran-bound cargo ship with 2 missiles early on Monday. The U.S. military official said that the hit caused minor damage. It is for the first time that Houthis have targeted an Iran-bound vessel since the start of its attack on the international shipping. Houthis have repeatedly struck international commercial ships since mid-November, targeting at vessels having ties to the United States, Britain, or Israel. And the United States Senate voted to move forward on a $95.34 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan on Monday. The lawmakers exceeded a simple majority threshold in a 66-33 vote to adopt the aid provisions. This sweeps aside the last procedural hurdle and limit debate on the measure to a final 30 hours before a vote on passage that could come on Wednesday. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Uncertainty still prevails over the formation of government after fractured verdict in National Assembly polls. Election Commission there denounces any manipulation. 13th February marks World Radio Day, which is an opportunity to celebrate the powerful medium.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world, one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, former U.S. President Donald Trump, who is seeking to regain presidency in this year's November 5 elections, has requested the U.S. Supreme Court to temporarily shelve a judicial order that refutes his claims of immunity from prosecution. Trump's lawyers, in a brief, stated that the criminal trial will affect his bid to participate in the presidential race. Trump was charged for conspiring to defraud the United States and also for conspiring to obstruct the certification of of the 2021 election results. He was also prosecuted for conspiring against the right of Americans to vote. Last October, Trump sought to have the charges against him dropped based on his claim of immunity from criminal prosecution related to actions taken by a president while in office.
Don't get immunity, then crooked Joe Biden doesn't get immunity, and all of the things he's done to allow the border invasion, millions and millions of people coming into our country, many from prisons, jails, mental institutions, insane asylums, many terrorists coming into our country. That's really allowing insurrection.
And British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak defended his plan to send migrants entering the country in small boats via the English Channel to Rwanda. Speaking during a televised question and answer session in northeast England, Sunak told voters that the Rwanda deportation scheme was necessary as a deterrent to channel crossings. Sunak also slammed the opposition Labour Party's position on race discrimination after it announced it had withdrawn support for Azhar Ali.
Made progress, down by a third. But in order to fully solve this problem, we need a deterrent. That's what Rwanda is all about, and that is why I'm absolutely committed to getting this bill through Parliament and getting this scheme up and running. And without that, we won't be able to fully solve this problem.
And in Pakistan, uncertainty prevails over the formation of government after Thursday's fractured verdict in National Assembly polls. The Election Commission of our neighbouring country has denounced any claims of manipulation in the vote count, though the EC did accept that there were few irregularities. Reportedly, the electoral body said that the polling was organised and held peacefully despite difficulties and issues, while caretaker Prime Minister Anwar-ul-Haq asserted that Pakistan would not investigate allegations just because some foreign capitals had sought a probe and had its own laws to deal with any challenges. And as Indonesia is scheduled to go under polls on Wednesday, the nation makes final preparations ahead of presidential election. As the world's third largest democracy, 205 million registered voters will elect a successor to President Joko Widodo. As per the opinion polls, Defence Minister Prabowo Subianto appears to be the front-runner, while former Jakarta Governor Anies Baswedan and former Central Java Governor Ganjar Pranowo are also in the fray. Well, European Parliament's key committees are set to vote on the AI Act before presenting it to the full Parliament. The rules, known as the world's most comprehensive on artificial intelligence, were agreed upon by European leaders last month in Brussels. DD India's Ishan Garg reports for more from Brussels.
The European Parliament's committees on consumer protection and civil liberties are discussing the AI Act. The legislation will then be put to a vote in the European Parliament, likely in April. It's largely seen as a procedural step, as European Union leaders have already agreed on the text of the law back in January. Now, this act aims to regulate the use of artificial technology by dividing it into 4 categories based on the kind of risk they can potentially pose. The law can ban some uses of artificial intelligence in the most sensitive areas like biometric categorization, and can ask companies to stress test their software models and ensure transparency in the process in other cases. Regulating this new technology is seen as a major step towards digital safety in Europe. The EU is particularly concerned about AI models potentially damaging democratic processes and human rights, especially after numerous examples of generative AI models being used to pump out fake news and images have been seen. Some member nations have raised concerns about new laws hampering new companies. Reports say Germany particularly is worried about the medical industry could be hampered. Some other applications of the technology, such as facial recognition, have been allowed despite criticism from digital activists. Now, analysts say the challenge for the EU has always been to avoid over-regulation, especially as most other international communities, such as the ASEAN and the OECD, are choosing to issue guidelines on the use of AI instead of framing a full-fledged regulatory framework. Ishan Garg in Brussels, reporting for DD India.
And the chief of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, has warned about the impact of artificial intelligence on global employment and said that the transition to AI will be like the Industrial Revolution, affecting about 40% of the jobs. The IMF chief was addressing the World Summit of Governments in Dubai. She also compared the potential impact of AI to a tsunami hitting the labour market, stressing its scale and significance.
The shift to artificial intelligence is going to be like the Industrial Revolution in terms of scale and significance of impact, affecting 40% of jobs. Either completely new jobs come, or jobs get enhanced, or jobs disappear. This is like a tsunami hitting the labor market.
Dubai is set to have world's first air taxi. Agreements have been linked at the World Government Summit 2024, which is taking place at the UAE currently. The development is set to revolutionize urban transportation. The agreements pave the way for the induction of Joby Aviation S4, an aircraft designed to comfortably accommodate 4 passengers along with the pilot. This aerial vehicle will help Dubai to pioneer the deployment of a city-wide electric aerial taxi service and vertiport network. Leveraging cutting-edge technology, these aerial vehicles aim to seamlessly integrate into Dubai's urban landscape that will offer swift and eco-friendly transportation solutions. The air taxi network will commence its operation from 2026, marking a significant milestone in Dubai's quest to redefine urban mobility.
Is an electric air taxi. It carries 4 people and a pilot on journeys of up to 160 kilometers, and it takes off and lands vertically like a helicopter, flies forward like a plane. We plan to launch service here in Dubai at the World Government Summit, where we're unveiling this for the first time. We were actually in India this past weekend at the Global Business Summit, where we talked about the opportunity for this technology in the Indian market, transforming the way that people might travel in congested cities and regions.
And well, February 13, that is today, marks the World Radio Day, a celebration of the powerful medium that has informed, entertained and educated people around the world for over a century. The United Nations General Assembly adopted the resolution of World Radio Day on 14th of January 2013, recognizing the importance of radio as a source of information, entertainment and education for all. The objective of World Radio Day is to raise greater awareness among the public and media regarding the importance of radio. The theme for the World Radio Day this year is Radio, a Century, informing, entertaining and educating. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.